complex companies going out assessing everything that was going on. Back in the 50s, that really wasn't a good place to develop. But I'm sure that when they were planning I-15, somebody put their word in and said, hey, there's a nice little chunk of remote land right there that somebody might want to have access to it sometime. So let's put this let's spend a couple of $1 million and put a major interchange in there just in case.
So as a BLM whistleblower, as a whistleblower on these property investigations, since this research can be done by any individual, what is your call to action?
This is my call to action. I back when I was involved in the business, I was trying to whistleblow and attention back then. I don't have the time to click on every little parcel in Clark County and figure out where the dirt is. But I know that there's plenty of people, patriots out there that have a computer and internet and can go to the Clark County website and start clicking around these parcels and figure out what's going on and get this information out there. I mean, eventually, at some point, some law enforcement agency has to go in and find out what the heck is going on here. Why are these BLM parcels shrinking? And why are the parcels surrounding these shrinking parcels growing with no exchange of money, at least the way that it's being recorded at the county assessor's office in Las Vegas? I mean, what's going on here? Somebody needs to look into this. Someone needs to find out, who are these companies? What is the Cedar Development Court? What is the Reed family doing down here, buying up these, getting involved in these land deals? I mean, there's been a lot of I know for a fact that a lot of ranchers have gone out of business in that area and have left and sold their land, and I can tell from some of the parcel histories that I've looked at in this area that some of that land was real controversial, and I can tell that some of that land was strategically taken from these people. I know people that's their business. They're called land vultures. They go out and they look for people that are in financial stress, and they put more financial stress. In fact, I knew a guy that what he would do is when he wanted land, he'd go out and tell the owners he's going to call the IRS on them if they don't capitulate. And in a lot of cases, he would call the IRS and make some kind of statement to them.
In this case, the BLM is the agency of choice.
Right. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if next the IRS isn't out there on the Bundys, putting more stress on them. I mean, seriously, what happens in these situations? In a lot of cases, the IRS is sniffing around because somebody created some. All you have to do is make a phone call or send them in an email and say that this person is not paying their taxes.
Do you think that what's happening there in Clark County is happening in other counties and other states?
I'd say the whole West is under siege. I mean, I've gone and clicked around in a few areas. I've found a few counties in New Mexico, and some counties well, this goes on big time in California, big time, in Oregon, in Washington. You go anywhere near an Air Force base or any kind of industrial area where there's BLM land, and you start clicking around, there's suspicious activities going on.
All right.
And the only states that I haven't actually identified this type of activity going on yet is in Wyoming and Idaho. It's a growing situation in Utah. What happened I heard about 8 years ago from somebody that I know that was a contract worker out at the Nevada test site. He told me that they're shutting the Nevada test site down and they're moving it to Utah because it's so polluted and things are so convoluted out there that they can't carry on business out there anymore. And they want to keep the public thinking that that's all that stuff is going on out there because it'll keep them keep their attention diverted away. And they've moved all of that strange activity into Utah. And so I went in and I started researching what was going on in Utah, trying to find out where that base is. And that's public information too. People can click around. They can go in and check the records in Utah, and they can figure out where it is.
Rusty, what is the website itself?
The here for Clark County, well, all you have to do is Google the Clark County Assessor's Office, and what it let me physically do it. I got a link right here. Let me pop it up on my computer so that I can check it out. Basically, it depends on how high tech the area is. Some counties aren't as high tech. Clark County has a lot of money because of the casinos, so everything is all state of the art, high tech stuff going on, and they have one of the most advanced systems for doing research. The name of the website that I use to get this information is in capital letters, GISMO.
Gizmo.
Gizmo. It used to be called the Clark County Info Mapper. And I got it coming up here. Okay. The actual website address is GISGATE.co.clark.nv.us. It's /openweb/. Right. This is what it is according to the law, all land transactions have to be public record nationally. And what the counties across the United States that have the money and can afford it make this information available on the internet. But anybody can go to any county recorder's office anywhere in the United States and get a whole title history of what goes on land. If a bank has a lien on the land, that lien has to be recorded. All of that information is recorded in the county's recorder office anywhere in the United States. Now, anybody can go down. A lot of those actual documents aren't available online in Clark County, but you can go down to the Clark County Assessor's Office and on some of those parcels like the Cedar Development Corp. And Reed Land Trust, and you can see if there's any lien land. You can see if they paid cash for it or not, or there'll be some kind of record, or there'll be some kind of information available supposedly of why there isn't a recorded amount for the land there. Because what happens is when a county assessor is doing a tax assessment, the first thing they look at is how much the people paid for the land. So when you have a piece of land that has a long-term title history with a lot of changing hands, and it comes up zero, there's only two ways that can happen. One is because it was an original settler that had rights to that land, and they never sold it, and the name changed because a daughter of the family married somebody and got a different surname. The other reason why it would show up zero is because someone's hiding something. And I've noticed that the only other time that it comes up zero is if the BLM is involved.
All right. Well, Rusty, I think you've really gave us an articulate cross-section, dissection, if you will, of what is happening there in the Clark County region where the Bundy Ranch is. We are up against the clock. Do you have any final thoughts that you want our audience to take away from this?
Yes. The bottom line is people need to start. I mean, we can't wait around for law enforcement or someone to dig up the dirt on what's going on with this stuff. Anybody that has the time needs to go around, needs to go online and start researching what's going on with the land in your area. If you're wherever you live in the western United States, in New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, California, Oregon, and Washington especially, you need to, if they don't have it online, go down to the county recorder's office and start looking at what's going on with these BLM lands that are adjacent to private ownership, especially if it's owned by a corporation, and start looking at the title history. And with that, eventually law enforcement has got to start taking a look at this. There's a huge amount of crooked activity going on, and we're really fortunate actually that this Bundy Ranch situation happened, because this corruption, this information that I'm giving you, as far as I'm concerned, is just the very tip of a huge rotten iceberg.
All right,
And every
Rusty,
people, yeah.
we are up against the clock, and clearly the Bundy Ranch fiasco is melting that iceberg as we speak with the information that you have provided us in this interview. Thank you for joining us. We do have to go. That was Rusty Hill, a BLM whistleblower. You heard it right here on the Next News Network. I'm Gary Franchi, signing off.